So tough break there for Scotty, but here we are underway in the final. A little bit of a change up now. It's an 18-minute jam session. We add 3 extra minutes to the clock. Riders are going to run in order as to how they qualify for the finals. The runs are 40 seconds in length. The best possible run score you can get is a 50. It's your 2 best runs totaled together. They'll hopefully get you on the podium here in Foz do Iguaçu.
Daniel Sandoval, only 18 years of age, the hand plant there. Had a little rough spot at the start of this run, and it gets a little tricky. These guys are tired from riding earlier.
Well, the heat is definitely a factor, as you heard Scotty talking about earlier, so fatigue definitely a factor in that as well. But this is Daniel Dares. He and Scotty have traded off gold medals the last 7 years in a row at this event. Scotty's out. Daniel's hungry for another gold.
And this run is linking it together right now. That's a big tuck no-hander out of the deep end of the pool. And Daniel's flowing. He's got the experience. He's got the gold medals. He knows what it takes.
Experience. That's the key right there. He's done this before, and like you said, he knows what it takes. However, remember, we talked about this earlier. Broken left kneecap last summer at this event, and he's still not 100%.
We're never 100%. We being people that ride BMX bikes, but you know, you do what you can under the circumstances, and he's making the most of his chance right now. Gary is the master at high-speed lines, a master at unique transfers, and if he links it all together and stays on his bike, I mean, he's placed really well in this event many, many times.
Nice big floating 360 over what we call the volcano feature. Once again, look up the top right-hand corner of your screen.
There you go, unique line.
The clock in red, that is the run clock. It's a 40-second run clock. The clock to the left of that, that's how much time is left in the overall session.
Nice. Using the rail feature, you're not seeing much of that.
I was going to say, we didn't see a lot of that in either heats 1 or 2 to get to this final. Well, look out. On course right now, this is Dennis Anderson. He's got a couple of silver medals from the
making it. Oh, good bar to tuck. Bar spin to tuck no-hander, you call that. There's a lot to fit in, especially when you're dealing with an 11-foot deep bowl.
He kind of got a little lost there coming back over that volcano. Seemed to slow down the speed just a bit.
Well, he's such a natural rider. Lost for Dennis Anderson, you barely even see it because he's right back on his line instantly. Feeble to bar spin in. To me, those sort of tricks will be rewarded. It's throwing something tech and look tricky into a run, and he hasn't slowed down. He's keeping the flow going. Bar to bar back. This run is awesome.
2 seconds, 1,
and if he pulls this, that's a big if. Yes. Pat Casey just charging it. He did really well coming into this to get into the final heat. Doing a little burn there, like he's taking his old Coal Canyon BMX track that he grew up on. And a double whip 270 over the hip.
Yeah, he's been on fire. He was the top guy coming out of heat number 2, and he's pretty much picking up where he left off there. With the flare again, Ellie talked about this earlier, drifting the opposite direction.
Throwing the bars in there, if I saw that right.
I think he threw the bars.
Too bad for like one little mess up like that at the end. You know, landing low, that could be the difference in a point or 2 or 3 in your final score. Because you got to figure individual judges might each deduct a point there, but that was a sick run.
Well, look how tightly everybody's grouped from Dares up to Anderson, a 34, a 33, a 35. Kyle Baldock on course right now. He was your top qualifier coming out of heat number 1.
Bar catch bar, and Kyle's obviously figured the lines out. I think that makes him the favorite. I mean, not against the entire field of 5, but if you had to pick one guy based on how he rode in the prelim, that this would be it. But you still got to make it happen when it counts, and he's doing that right now.
Got that corked out 7 over the volcano, and then that corked out 900 on a tight transition right there.
Well, Kyle's known for doing some of the hardest tricks in the business, like that tail whip flare, making them look easy, but he does everything like a little bit higher, or sometimes a lot higher than everybody else, and that stands out.
26 there for Daniel Sandoval, which will bring up Daniel Dares. Solid first run score at that 34, corks out that 720.
Nice tuck no-hander. He's keeping his flow coming back from that deep hole too. Losses on a tiny bit, but it's hard to be too critical. But then again, when you're riding with the best riders in the world, you know, the tiny little things can be the difference.
Well, we mentioned that from last summer, and he's still not 100%. We're getting word right now that he's also crashed in practice earlier today, and he's got an aggravated right hip that's been starting to act up a little bit, and now you see him go down there and hits that right hip, and definitely favoring that a little bit. You see him kind of limping out of the course there. So we are in the middle of the BMXPARK final. Jimmy Coleman here in the booth sitting alongside Dennis McCoy. We've got Dennis Anderson on course right now. Your top scorer right now, Kyle Baldock. However, he's not at the top of the leaderboard. The reason for that being it's your two best runs combined here. So we're in the middle of round two, so you'll see these names jumping around quite a bit here. Dennis with a huge transfer.
Huge and fast and stylish. You combine all those elements and it's a treat to watch.
Just under 10 minutes left here in the jam session clock. Once again, the runs are 40 seconds in length. The best possible score you can get out here in the BMXPARK final is the best possible single run score, I should say, is a 50.
Look at
your
that.
two best scores totaled together. So your best total score you can get to 100.
Solid run off the extension. Something little like that just looks like a way that you ended your run is actually something that's going to add to your score quite a bit.
On course right now, your top guy in heat number one. He's got the single highest run score of the final thus far. This is Kyle Baldock.
Tail whip to late bowspin. That is scary. 11-foot deep concrete bowl. And you got to find a line to get the speed to do that. And look at that. Corked out 7, I guess we'll call it 3 flip, a little less laid over flip style. I don't know. Again, there's a lot of hybrid tricks out there, but Kyle's on fire.
Flare, tail whip. And just land. And again, I mentioned this on the last run. Look at the pace. Look at how fast he's flowing through the course.
He's on it. Little slip up, but I think
little foot down. It'll be a little another first run, I think, but still, it's going to be high.
It's going to be a huge score, and it's going to put him firmly in the lead. Off the extension, something little like that just looks like a way that you ended your run is actually something that's going to add to your score quite a bit.
On course right now, your top guy in heat number one. He's got the single highest run score of the final thus far. This is Kyle Baldock.
Tail whip to late bowspin. That is scary. 11-foot deep concrete bowl. And you got to find a line to get the speed to do that. And look at that. Corked out 7, I guess we'll call it 3 flip, a little less laid over flip style. I don't know. Again, there's a lot of hybrid tricks out there, but Kyle's on fire.
Flare, tail whip. And just land. And again, I mentioned this on the last run. Look at the pace. Look at how fast he's flowing through the course.
He's on it. Little slip up, but I think
little foot down. It'll be a little another first run, I think, but still, it's going to be high.
It's going to be a huge score, and it's going to put him firmly in the lead.
So he's going to pass, and now we go back up to the top once again with Daniel Sandoval.
And a big truck driver to downside with, and he's charging. I mean, this is interesting.
Well,
he comes down to how many runs he can get. If this is his last run, it's not going to bump him into.
He's got a 28 to 26 he's got to get rid of. He's got to get up into the 30s, and he's got to do it on this run. If he can get one more after this, if he get through the rotation.
There's 4:40 left on the clock, and if everybody keeps passing, it could be Daniel Sandoval doing 20 runs until the end.
And 20, but you get my point. Yeah, that was a great run for Daniel.
And we've got Gary Young on course here now. Oh, that transfer him and Dennis are doing. Something about guys from San Diego. They like to pedal. They love to do unique lines. And they're always a treat to watch. And Gary's sitting with a 29. He drops that, and things change quickly in the next game.
Gary's sitting down at 5th right now with a 33 and a 29. He'd like to get rid of that 20. Big transfer there for Gary.
Using the rail there. That's so good to see.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of that either of the two qualifying heats.
That's a solid run by Gary.
He's got a little bit of a scratch on the chin there as well.
Yes,
so we keep moving along with Pat Casey now. Dennis still sitting in a medal position right now, though. He's in a silver medal position at this point in time.
And Gary Young better to score by a fair amount. Pops in front of Dennis.
Top 3 still, though. Kyle Baldock, Dennis Anderson, and Pat Casey. Remember, Kyle Baldock didn't go in the last round. He passed as well, said he needed to take a break from the heat.
Pat is doing that alley-oop barspin flare, like he's just got it wired. So I guess he does have it wired. It's the same way
every time. So there's the run clock for Pat Casey. Will Baldock take this next run? We're on the 2-minute mark, so this looks like, barring any more passing, this will take us through. This will be the last round.